Hello, it is I, Sir Raven, CEO of BLX. I want to come on and discuss taking a break. Have seen the video where I was saying that I was taking a break and I gave some reasons, but I think I want to go like a little bit deeper into what those reasons are and why I decided to take a break in the first place. So when I decided to take a break, I recognized that I needed, that I was making mistakes. And that multitasking, people will say, oh, I'm a multitasker. And when you're a multitasker, at least for me, I found this to be true. I don't get anything really done, right? Because I'm not focusing on that one thing. And that's what I was doing. I was jumping from task to task. And while in the middle of a task, I'd be like, oh, I got to do this thing. And I'd go over here and do that thing. And that's why I was making a lot of mistakes. And that wasn't good enough for me. I was making these mistakes because I was trying to get all of these things done. So here's some facts that I was doing. I was keeping the books for how our grant money was being spent. Got to keep the books. I'm not a bookkeeper, but I was trying, and I'm still learning. We have QuickBooks, and it's easy and it's hard, and I'm still learning. I was creating programs like the Artist Lounge and the Community Conversations, and this means finding and asking community members to come and speak or attend Artist Lounge. I had to send them the speaker agreement, set up the Zoom, create the invites, create the social media, have a folder on the back end that I would put all of the information because, grants. I would do the posting. I had to also collect invoices and keep receipts because, again, grants. So that's like one thing. Another thing is I looked for databases for grants because part of how we do what we do here at BLX is we apply for grants and we also charge for some community conversations, or if we're doing a party, like we had a party, we charge for that. But we understand that folks may not have the means for a thing, one. And two, we want to pay our community members for their labor. And so we do that by those two things. And actually, it's three things because we also have a Patreon, but I'll get to that. So I was looking for databases for grants, and I would have to read through all of the grant requirements. And sometimes I would be like, oh, this is a great grant. And I'd start reading and reading and reading. I learned just so much. And then I would see, oh, the deadline has passed, or this was like last year. And I'll also talk about how finding that what I learned is when I find a grant that looks like it may align with BLX, I look at the expiration date or the deadline date immediately. If the deadline date has passed or is coming up, I have a grant calendar, which I transfer that information to, and then I have to look at periodically because I put the dates, when it's due, when it's going to open. I start doing those things. I also create short and long form videos. Long form for like the Patreon, and short form for like IG and YouTube. I'm really focused there. There were times when BLX was doing IG lives. When it was happening, it was good. So I did say I was going to get back to some things. I know that folks know that there's a lot of time that is put into the back end of an organization, right? So like I said, I have folders for folks who work with BLX because funders are going to want a report on what we've been doing with the money that they've given us. So that means I may have to send the invoices. I have to write up a narrative of what we've been doing and who we've worked with. I might have to send in analytics. And so it's these kinds of things, which is why I have to really make sure with that bookkeeping how we pay people. So sometimes people are like, oh, send me a cash app. No, I can't do that. So I really have to be on point with that. And like I said, I'm not a bookkeeper, but I am trying. So when it comes to videos, it takes hours depending on the project. I can edit a 2-hour community conversation, may take me 5 hours, right? I can't talk about how BLX is also about wellness and I don't take care of myself. I had to stop or take a break to assess my well-being and by extension BLX's well-being. And taking this break, I get a chance to reflect, reset, and gain some control over how I want to move forward, myself and BLX. I figured out what kind of strategy I was going to use moving forward and created a plan to do that. I saw where I was making mistakes and I was beating myself up in the past. I'm not doing that anymore. Yes, I take BLX very serious. It's really important to me. And I'm moving in a situation where I've never done this before. I've never been a CEO of a nonprofit. This is new. So I'm learning. I'm learning. So this break gave me the opportunity to motivate myself for the challenges that I know are going to come in the future. What else did I do during this break? What else did I do? I went out and I sat in the park. I met up with some friends and we went to an art show. I went to a museum. I had a wonderful dinner with a little femme. I repotted my plants, which I'm not really good with plants. They always die. But hey, these are alive. And I repotted them, which was amazing. Yes, I'm excited. I also took some time off during this break from my 9 to 5 because all of that happens that I just explained. BLX happens, but I also have a 9 to 5. But this time I took some time away from work. I turned off my alarm and I slept one day until 10 o'clock in the AM. And it was glorious. I made myself some really good meals. I've eaten a lot of fruit, drinking a lot of water, got rest, did some daydreaming, which is fantastic, did some art, and, it was what I needed. It's exciting, I'm looking forward to putting in place the systems and the strategy that I thought of during this break moving forward. So, with that being said, if you found you needed to take a break, what was it like for you? What did you learn about yourself? I know, you're like, I didn't know there was going to be an assignment. Yes, there's an assignment. What did you learn about yourself? What was taking a break like for the people around you? Because that could be an issue as well, right? So that's your assignment. Let's put it in the comments. And if you don't know, BLX focuses on the Black and Brown LGBTQ leather, kink, and BDSM community. We create space for hands-on workshops, community conversations, and art or wellness through art. Some of our events are open to everybody, all the community, and some are really just focused on Black and Brown folks, but it's usually stated. If you'd like to support us, you can head over to our Patreon. Our Patreon is where we collect funds to pay community members for their labor. If you are interested in coming out to our events when we do have them, like in-person events or even online, please welcome. Anyway, so that is what I have for you today. It's really about understanding when to take a break. It doesn't mean that you're quitting. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. It just means I have to take a break and stop. I have to take care of myself. I'm glad that I was able to recognize what I needed to do for myself, and I was able to do it. I hope that moving forward, we can continue this kind of conversation and that you find in your journey that when you need to take a break, you can take a break and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't mean that you're weak. It doesn't mean those things. It just means I have to take a break. I have to stop. Until we meet again, and you got something out of this, subscribe to our channel. Be nice. Follow us on IG. Join our Patreon if you are so inclined.